Let us pray. Now I want you to reach unto God's unchanging hand. He helped Joshua fight the battle of Jericho. He helped Daniel get out the lion's den. He helped Gilligan get off the island. We are here. We are here. Welcome back to the Coach's Huddle with your boy, the coach, where the field meets family. And we've got another regularly scheduled installment of our show, The Neutral Zone, with my boy, Chunder Boy. Chunder Boy, we got so much to talk about. But first, how are you doing, bro? How you doing?
I'm great, man. Just got back from going back to California for the holidays, visiting with the in-laws, seeing friends and family. So came back with a little bit, get a little bit of the ick going around right now with cold and flu season. But other than that, man, everything is fantastic.
Awesome. Like the biggest thing that I see right now is that we're 12-4, bro.
12-4, baby.
Like, what is going on, man?
How?
Dude, hey, look, last game out, San Francisco 49ers come out, beat the Bears, the 11-4, and then the 11, at that time, 11-4 as well. San Francisco 49ers beat the Bears 42-38 in a thrilling matchup, a shootout, if you will. So many things came to fruition in this game. The offense came to life. There was a shootout. Brock Purdy got it done. 5 touchdowns again, 10 touchdowns in 2 weeks. But It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It was different. It was a different 5 touchdowns.
Wasn't clean.
But it was respectable.
Oh, yeah.
Very respectable. All right. Before we get into the topic,
was it
I just want to
maybe.
Listen, before we get into the topic, I just want to hear your initial thoughts on the game and honestly what you thought about Brock Purdy. So go. You had the floor because I know you wanted to come into the studio. I would have had you on. It was crazy. You were out west. You couldn't make it.
Yeah.
But we haven't talked all day on purpose.
Nope.
Go.
So the thing about Brock Purdy this season is I said earlier this year, this season is going to define Brock Purdy. And I said a couple of podcasts ago, these last 3 games would not just define Brock Purdy for this season, but would define Brock Purdy's career. Mm-hmm. Because we've seen what it looks like when he has everything going right around him, and we've seen what it looks like when everything is going wrong. Now we're getting to see Brock play when he's finally getting healthy, when there's a lot of things going on around him that are very adversarial, but there's a handful of things that are going right for him, right? He came back from the toe injury at the same time that Kittle came back. That's a big help. Trent Williams has been playing out of his mind the last couple of weeks. Dominic Pooney seems to have gotten healthy and has played much better. Jake Tonjes without Kittle last week looked like a tight end 1. So it's like there's a lot of things going well for around Brock as well. But Brock is showing very clearly, to me, it seems as though he's shaken off whatever that was that he got in his head last season, whether it was a time clock issue or I feel like I have to be Superman issue or whatever that was that seemed to be holding him back. He seems to have turned a corner on that, and he's gotten back to playing decisive, accurate, efficient football. And when Brock Purdy does that, the 49ers offense is absolutely unstoppable.
Man, look, absolutely unstoppable. All right, so look.
1 punt in all of December? 1 punt. Oh, can you preach for a second?
I am all there with you on the level of enthusiasm, my friend. I'm there. Yeah. I'm there. This is a rare moment in our relationship where we are aligned, like head on with the enthusiasm. We're both giddy, okay? I would use that word.
Yeah.
But I think we're giddy for different reasons. I don't think that the offense is unstoppable.
Okay.
Okay. I don't think that there is. I think your pleasure in what you've seen from the team derives from what you've seen from them in the past and the outcome of how the offense put up points, how they haven't punted, like you said, they haven't punted in a month. That gives you kind of like 2023 vibes, 2019 vibes, 2021. Like it gives us the vibes of when the offense used to just be dominant, when they would take over games, right? When they would show up and show out. We could have won this game 20-16, and I would have been just as excited.
Okay.
Right? So for me, it's not the fact that the offense showed the ability to score 42 points and then all of a sudden, like, hey, that's the standard. That's what they can do. I'm not looking for them to be scoring 42 points against Seattle on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
For me, it shows another shade, another side, another element, another dimension on just what they're willing to do to win, right?
Yeah.
Right? It was the pursuit of 42 points that I was more galvanized by, not by just the 42 points, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody was involved. We had 8 pass catchers in this game. Christian McCaffrey had 100 yards rushing by the half. Brock had 2 rushing touchdowns. Jake Tunges stepped up, right? Trent Williams goes down on the first play of the game, right? No George Kittle. You didn't see Kyle just using CMC, and it was just painstaking, like, my God, bro. You didn't see that. You saw so many different avenues with George Kittle being out, 12 personnel, like running so many things out of 12 now, like doing things with Sky Moore being involved in the last couple of weeks in the offense. The emergence of Ricky Pearsall. Don't look now. Nobody's talking about this, and I understand for good measure because he struggles. But Ricky Pearsall was the leading receiver on Sunday night, right? He was 8 for 5 for 85 yards, right, with a longer 30 yards. It was Ricky Pearsall. So for me, it shows that these dudes, it's almost kind of like a fighter where it's like you thought he was a boxer, but then you find out he's got knockout power. Right? It's like, oh my God, he's not a knockout artist, but it's like, my God, what can he do? You know, like he's showing dexterity. Yeah. It's almost like, well, it's to the point where you start looking at the Niners as a team and you want to say, what's their strength? And it's like, dude, they win. They win ugly. They can get in shootouts. Like I've seen us get in a shootout now. You see what I'm saying?
Is their strength moxie? Would you say that their strength this year is moxie?
Yeah, they definitely got a lot of attitude. They have tons of edge, right? So I'll give you that. I think that because the names aren't there, as far as the Nick Bosa's, the Brandon Ayuk's, the Debo's are gone, the Fred Warner's down, right? The names aren't there, and I think that the coaching staff has responded to say, we're not going to be strapped to these guys. I believe that there's almost an element of the building that is a little tired of the Cabo clique. Not in the sense that they're not who they are and they're not amazing and they're not great athletes. All of that is true. But in a sense of who really gets the credit for why we have had so much success for all of these years? Do people really think that we just got 5 to 6 golden eggs, right? That we roll out on the field and they just win it for us? Are they truly understanding how good the coaching is here? Are they truly understanding a Coach Forrester that has Austin Pleasance ready, that takes a starting tackle, career college tackle, switches his position to right tackle, then the right guard, then finally, out of sheer necessity, he's the 3rd string left guard, and now he's playing himself into a deal potentially in the offseason in Spencer Burford. That's coaching. That's getting these guys prepared. Chase Lucas said it about Coach Saleh. He said it about 2 months ago when Chase Lucas had to come in and take over for a spell, and he talked about how Coach Saleh gives the DBs and the linebackers over 50 plays of quarterbacks' favorite routes, their favorite go-to things that you're gonna pay attention to in special moments. Like, that's coaching. It's not missed on me that a lot of these guys are being elevated, because I think that I've been in a position where I've poured everything into a guy before he was a name, because I was trying to elevate him. And selfishly, there was an element of people knowing that that was my guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think there's a little bit of that. Talk to me about how you feel about just overall the coaching, and we'll get into some of the seeding, which is definitely where we have to go.
So, I mean, as a whole, the 49ers, they've got to be right there at 1, 2, or 3 best coaching staffs in football. And it's not just the coordinators. They have elite coordinators at all 3 spots. Clearly, Brent Boyer is an elite special teams coordinator. But they also have an elite offensive line coach. They have an elite running backs coach. They have an elite linebacker coach. Like, I've been pounding the table for a couple of weeks now to try to get people to recognize how well this team develops talent over time. So I was just looking earlier at PFF. Do you know how many players on our current offensive roster were drafted in the first round? It's like 20 plus players in our current offensive roster. You're muted, maybe?
Wow, that's a lot. Sorry.
So we only have 4 drafted in the first round. Of the 22, 24 so offensive players on our roster, only 4 of them were drafted in the first round. One was Christian McCaffrey. We traded for him. One was Trent Williams. We traded for him. One was Mac Jones. He's the backup quarterback. And the only actual player that we drafted in the first round on our offense is Ricky Pearsall. Everybody else are mid-round guys that we have drafted and developed over time. On the defensive side of the ball, it's very similar.
Okay, keep talking. I want to refute you. Go ahead.
So the defensive side of the ball, there's also 4 first-round picks in Nick Bosa, Mykel Williams, Cleveland Farrell, and I'm blanking on the 4th guy. But when you go through the defensive roster, it's the same thing. I think
Keon White didn't make it to the first round. Sorry.
Nope. Eli Apple is the other first-round pick that's on the 49ers
Jesus,
defense.
I would have never got that. Go ahead.
So that just kind of clicked for a second. I don't know how.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing about it is, the 49ers develop players, especially from the mid-rounds, as well as anybody in football. But the other thing that's gone totally overlooked with this crazy run the 49ers have this year, they have $100 million in dead cap space and $40 million, roughly, I'm not sure what the current number is, in money that they're going to roll over to next year because they have available cap space. They're only using half of their salary cap this year. If they win a championship, I guarantee you this will be the team that had the lowest amount of salary cap used in the history of the NFL of their active roster and win a Super Bowl. Guaranteed.
Look, dog, I'm going to put it like this, man. I'm sorry. We had a topic, but this one really is near and dear to me, and I'm going to put this out there right now. Who was right?
Gavin, shut up, dude.
Who was right? Goddamn. Who was right? All of the people. Were you team sell or team buy on the trade deadline?
I was with you. I'm good either way.
I was team sell.
I was team I'm good either way. I'd prefer that the 49ers didn't make any big moves that would cost us down in the future. I didn't want, unless the only player out there that I could think of was maybe a Christian Gonzalez or something like that, because he was somebody being talked about potentially getting moved. Somebody like that who's an elite corner, I would be willing to give up some draft capital in the future. But other than that, I just didn't want the 49ers going back into this draft capital hole that they were in before.
What week of the draft, what week of this year was the trade deadline? What week was that?
It's halfway through every year. It's week 9.
Week 9. Okay, so by week 9,
I think it was on November 11th or something this year.
Yeah, by week. Oh yeah, because I remember that because we were about to play the Rams, right?
Yeah.
So by week 9, okay, we were 6-3.
Yep.
All right. By week 9, we were 6-3. And I remember distinctly saying at the time, they deserve my grace. I remember saying this, that whatever they choose to do, I'll be fine with it because they deserve to say, hey, I don't want to get anybody, or hey, let's go ahead and do it. And I brought up the fact of the draft, the cap, everything that we had done. Honestly speaking, like this was supposed to be a redo year. This was supposed to be kind of like a reload year on the low. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And now that we're here at 12-4, okay? At 12-4, and I got you, Tom. Now that we're here at 12-4, okay, and we picked up Keon White, we still got Cleveland Farrell, okay? And don't look now, but Bryce Huff was an addition too. He just came early into the season. We just got him and he had a camp. That's the only difference. We acquired Bryce Huff too. How do you feel now, looking at what we've done? And let's not forget, while we're going through a dream of a season, to be honest with you.
It is.
All right, we're damn near playing with house money. If we win on Saturday, hang it up, bro. Come on, son.
Bro, I picked a hell of a season to start a channel. I picked a pretty good season.
Bro. Hell yeah, bro. Come on, son. Don't play.
Yeah.
All of that, dude, on top of all of the dead cap that we're accruing this year, all right, and the salary cap money, we're like top 5 in dead cap and top 3 in salary cap, all right, with a full draft of picks. Who's got it better than us?
Nobody.
On, man. Who's got it better than us? I just think that we're in a prime position. So we look really good.
I'm so glad you hit on that, because the thing that's also going overlooked is the 49ers. Everybody looks at this roster and sees all these holes because not only are there injuries and stuff, but even going into the season, there were a lot of areas that we felt like the 49ers just had holes. And there's a lot of people that want them to draft differently. They wanted more action in free agency. They wanted more action at the trade deadline because of all the holes that people see. Well, guess what? You have a team that has a chance to win a Super Bowl, has a ton of money next offseason, a full slate of – how much better could this team be in 2 years if just a couple of these – if Alfred Collins turns into the guy that it looks like he's going to turn into, if Jake Tonjes becomes a legit number 2 tight end for this team, if – Diamador Lenore and Renardo Green, hold down the fort, and we maybe go get a high-end safety with our first-round pick, somebody who can actually take the ball away. All of a sudden, we're right back into chasing a dynasty mode as opposed to just trying to get number 6. Maybe we won't blow it this time around.
Yeah. Let's get into the seeding, though. The seeding is the biggest part right now for me. Like we said, we control our own destiny. NFC seed scenario, week 18 outcomes, coming with the number 1 seed, the NFC and the home field advantage. It's going to be determined by us, the San Francisco 49ers versus the Seattle Seahawks in a head-to-head matchup on Saturday Night Football. Seattle Seahawks, they clinched the number 1 seed with a win or a tie against us on Saturday. We clinched the number 1 seed with a win over Seattle outright. We beat them in week 1. That's the sweep, baby. Okay? The winner of this game takes the NFC West and the number 1 seed, and the loser falls to the number 3 seed, which is weird. It's not that bad. Number 3, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Number 2 and number 3 seeds right now currently are the Bears and the Eagles. Chicago and Philadelphia are both 11-5 with division titles in hand. If Seattle wins or ties and the Eagles win, Philly can clinch the number 2 seed if the Bears lose and the Bears fall to number 3. If the Eagles lose, the Bears are likely to get the number 2 and host an NFC or NFC wild card, an NFC or NFL wild card game. If the Bears win, the Bears can clinch the number 2 seed depending on the Eagles' results. If the 49ers and the Seahawks, if the 49ers win and the Seahawks lose, the winners of the Bears versus the Eagles results determines the number 2 and the number 3 seed accordingly. In short, if the Bears and the Eagles will be the number 2 and the number 3 in some order unless they tie each other out of playoff positioning adjustments. For the NFC South, the division winner is the Carolina Panthers versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. If the Panthers clinch the NFC South with a win or a tie, or an Atlanta Falcons win, helping Carolina via tiebreakers. The Buccaneers clinch the South if they beat the Falcons, if they win and the Falcons lose or tie. So that's how it's looking right now. Basically, yada, 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 you know what I mean, win on Saturday.
That's it.
We have to win. How do you feel about it, man? What do you think our chances are going into this game?
I mean, I like our chances. I think that Seattle is a flawed team that's very beatable, but they have a young, hungry team that plays with their hair on fire and a coach that pushes them to the brink. And so there's only – if the 49ers protect the ball and if the 49ers run the ball, they should win. Mm-hmm. I think that Seattle – we can – Jackson Smith and Jigba can go off and we can still beat them. We've seen that already. Their running backs can go off and we can still beat them. We've had a couple of teams this year where the running back went off and we still won the game. So the 49ers don't necessarily have to play some sort of flawless performance, but they do have to play their A game and they do have to keep control of the ball. If they control the ball, they should win the game.
Yeah. My thing with this defense is because it's going to be the defense and Sam Darnold. Our defense and Sam Darnold. Does our defense show up and does Sam Darnold thrash us? That's really going to be the game. I think that offensively, Kyle's piping hot right now as far as play calls.
Bag.
Dog, he's in his Duffy.
Yeah.
Kyle is balling. George is back at practice. We already heard about Christian and Trent taking a vet day. The big question mark is if Trent is playing. If Trent can go, play him. I'm not mad at that. Also, I'm interested to see what Kyle's been waiting to pull out of his back pocket all year. I know he's got some shit that he's just been waiting on. Like Sky Moore's coming. Sky Moore is coming. And you know what? Pause, because Sky Moore is emerging. How about that? All right, so let's get into how they won. We already talked about the 42 points. And let's just see, man, are they real shooters? Okay, the 49ers have scored 42 points against an offense, against really the top 3 offense in the league. And I guess the question is, can the offense continue to win shootouts? We've now seen back-to-back games where the offense had to be perfect because the defense couldn't get consistent stops. They scored 42 points again, but they also gave up 38, and it felt like every drive mattered, which it did. Right now, the offense is the safety net, not the defense, which is different from years past. Can this offense realistically continue to win shootouts if the defense keeps playing like this, especially in the playoffs?
So I think they've just proven recently they absolutely can win shootouts. Now, can they win shootouts over and over and over again? No. You can't expect to win three shootouts in a row and go win a Super Bowl that way. The defense is gonna have to step up and make some plays. We have to hope a couple of things happen. One, we have to hope that we get a little bit lucky. We're playing top tier teams.
More lucky?
What I mean by lucky is okay. So an example of lucky. Brock Purdy throws a pick. Flag comes out. Guy put his hands in his face, turned Ricky's head a little bit sideways, and so they get that one back. That's lucky. That's a bad ball and it's a pick, and we got real lucky in that moment. We're going to need one or two of those things in the playoffs. We're going to need a couple of lucky moments. We're going to need a Alfred Collins giant hand coming out and punching somebody in the face mask to knock a ball loose. Like, we're going to have some of those moments in the playoffs. We're not going to be able to just line up and beat them. We don't have enough talent for that.
Okay. So as far as what you've seen on the defense, tell me what you think we do well.
On the defensive side of the ball, almost nothing.
That we can take that. All right, bro, help me out. Jesus Christ.
Listen,
by the way, you're not in the chat. You're on the show. You have to come up with a point of view, okay? You can't just riff and press enter. Like, come on.
Okay. So we rally to the ball as well as any team in football. And our secondary, for what they may lack in coverage on the back end, they're probably the best tackling secondary in football as far as coming up and tackling. Even Jair Brown, who had some real lapses previously and coming up to tackle, has gotten much better. Malik Mustafa is a human missile when he comes up to fill. And both of our corners tackle well, and Luter has also been doing a very good job of tackling on the edge. So we have a defense that might have some good gaps in it, but they will definitely come up and tackle, and we're not giving up a ton of leaky yardage all over the place. So I think that's what we're doing best is, okay, we're giving up a little bit, but we're not giving up unnecessary thing. I don't know what the right way to phrase it is. But just, I guess to sum it up, the overall effort of the defense and them rallying together, playing together as one unit is probably the highlight. But there's a lot of holes.
Well, the average points a game on offense last year in the playoffs was 25 points a game. All right, that was the average. Now, one thing, I get it. If you look at what we've been doing this year as far as average points a game, we're averaging 27.1 points a game right now. So we're ahead of the league average of what the playoffs were in the regular season last year in the playoffs. So that forebodes well. Another thing is that I don't really think, again, I think that all of these games are one-offs. I don't see anybody I'm scared of, bro.
At all.
The Panthers, the Bucks. Come on, bro. Like right now, you could make an argument that Seattle's the best team in the NFC.
Yeah.
You really could.
There's a lot of people that have them at number one in their power rankings. A lot of people.
Dude, especially when you see what the Rams did the other day. We going to get to that. All right. But Matt Stafford shit in the bed with 3 picks, and their defense is overrated, bro.
It is.
I'm telling you.
We've been saying that for the whole back half of the season.
Bro.
We've been saying that.
I'm just waiting on that. And then the Eagles, I don't know. Are the Eagles a sleeping giant? Who knows? You know?
The thing about the Eagles, they're just so talented. If they just decide to show up one day, we can't just line up with them. They are more talented than we are on paper.
I just got to be real with you. Like at the end of the day, while we're having this conversation, the truth is this could get clipped too. We could it could have just been the Eagles all along. Right? Yeah. Like, remember how we lost to the Chiefs in 23, right? The second time we lost to them.
Yeah.
Dude, they were on autopilot all season that year.
That's right.
If you remember.
Yep.
Like, there was really nothing about them that was spectacular. Then they just turned it on. Yeah. And really, just for the playoffs, by the time they got to us, they were wounded warriors. They really weren't ready to go. And we kind of fumbled that, bro. Like,
we did, for sure.
So, I mean, listen, yes, they are janky. You know what I'm saying?
Janky.
I agree with you.
That's a great word for that.
The Eagles can't get right. You know, they are janky. But I don't know. Offensively, I do believe that it's I just feel like the best phrase that comes to mind when I think about this offense is like, I ain't no killer, but don't push me. Like, I'm not. I don't want it. It's like, is Wayne Brady going to have to smack a bitch? I don't want to smack a bitch. I'm trying not to smack. So I feel like this offense is like, listen, if you want a low and slow game, we could play low and slow. But if you want to start picking up the pace, we're going to do whatever we need to do to win. And if that means that we turn ourselves into a team that's a shootout team, well, then so be it. We had a show earlier today with Grant, and I was trying to relay that to Jesse when we spoke on Monday, is that, you know, Jesse was talking about the defense as he should, you know, and he was forecasting with like, yo, what's going to happen when we see other teams? And I'm like, bro, everybody's got something wrong with them. Everybody's got injuries. There is not a perfect team out there. There's no juggernaut.
No.
So that team that's gonna the proverbial shoe that's gonna drop the other shoe, that's not gonna come. I don't see that this year. And then while all of that's happening, we keep winning.
Yeah.
Right? And if I could see if we were just who we are as an older version, admittingly, but you know, no injuries, Brandon Ayuk was on the field. It's just like, the Niners are 12-4, and it's just like, yeah, the league is mid, and we've been really healthy. It'd have been that whole narrative. Like, yeah, it's kind of underwhelming. I get it. It's just another year. And if everybody was healthy and we were 12-4, you know what everybody be saying? Well, we gotta wait to the playoffs to see what they really are. Because they haven't really been tested in the regular season. So for me, the fact that they've scrapped and scrounged, this team is not supposed to be 12-4.
No.
They're not supposed to be 12-4.
So let me ask you a question. Since we're on the subject of shootouts, and the 49ers, they're going to have to win some shootouts in the postseason. I don't think we're just going to, all of a sudden, the defense is going to hold everybody to under 23. It's not going to happen. We're going to have to win at least one shootout. So let me ask you this. Which quarterbacks, okay, so who are the quarterbacks that are in the NFC? We have Rams in Seattle. We have Stafford and Darnold. Mm-hmm. Then we have the Eagles quarterback. We have either Tampa or Carolina. And then we have the
Bryce
Packers.
Young and Bryce Young,
Baker.
Jordan Love, and Baker Mayfield.
Okay. Of all those quarterbacks, do you trust any of them more than Brock Purdy in a shootout?
Baker.
Who do you trust more in a shootout?
Baker.
The way he's been playing the last 6 weeks?
Yeah, Baker's been playing like shit, but he's
one of the worst quarterbacks in football in the last 6 weeks. If you'd have said that,
definitely not Jalen Hurts. Bryce, not the consistency. He's done it like maybe once or twice ever. Darnold, I just don't see him that way. You know what I mean? Like, Darnold is that friend zone. It's just like, dude, you're in the friend zone, bro. You're never. She just doesn't see you that way, bro. It's never happening. It's a weak quarterback. I mean, Matt Stafford.
That's it. There's only one quarterback where if we end up in a shootout, you're like, shit, they might have the better
Matt Stafford.
And that's Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
So, but with their defense, like, that's going to be a real legit shootout where both teams are just going to score like crazy.
Yeah. Stafford threw 3 picks yesterday, though. He's going to get away with it because he's got a Super Bowl and he's old. But
yeah,
that counts. Nobody's really going to talk about that. So, yeah, as far as the Niners being real shooters, man, look, I feel like all it takes is to die with one bullet. So, look, you can get out there and empty your whole clip and shoot all over the place, but if the caliber that got you is a 22, then that's what got you. So, I feel like the Niners, we're not shooters, but we got a lot of different calibers. Got a lot of different weapon systems, and that's a lot better than going into one gun. So I agree that we'll be able to handle that.
I think that
close it out.
The 49ers have the best quarterback in the NFC of all the playoff teams. Right now, the way that they're playing. Now, Stafford, Baker overall for a career and stuff, that's a different conversation. But right now, how the quarterbacks are playing, the 49ers have the best quarterback of the NFC playoff teams. I didn't mean to kill you with that. Sorry.
Yo, put the honey down, man. We got a Brock topic for you to go ahead and shine them up and gloss them. They're like, all right, man, relax. You couldn't let it go. All right, new topic. All right, who's the plaintiff? All right. Who is the most to blame for the defensive struggles? We just got finished talking about them. Salah's, injuries, or the front office? The defense isn't just struggling, it's failing at basics. Edge setting, tackling, gap integrity, third and long. I mean, you name it, dude. Some people say that Salah has nothing to work with, that we've already brought up. Other opinions are that the injuries have wrecked the unit. Others say that the roster was never good enough to begin with, and also that we should have made moves during the trade deadline. I guess the biggest question right now is who deserves the most blame for the defensive struggles?
So the way I would do this would be like percentages. You take all three of them because nobody's totally to blame. Mm-hmm. So I would put 50% of the blame on injuries. There's only so much you can do, and you can build the best roster in the world, but if everybody gets hurt, it doesn't matter, especially when it's your best players getting hurt. On top of that, Robert Saleh can be the greatest defensive mastermind of all time. When you lose the heart and soul of your defense, when you lose your only legitimate pass rusher, and you're filling holes in the roster, when you have to play your 7th linebacker, when you have to go get Eric Kendricks off the couch in week 16, that's a bigger factor than anything else. Now, so that's 50%. I would say 30% Robert Saleh and 20% construction, defensive construction. The reason I say 30%, because you could easily flip-flop that as well. But the poor communication on the back end, to me, is a coaching issue. Now, It doesn't mean Robert Saleh is a bad coach. It means that he hasn't figured out a way to get these guys on the same page on the back end. And, maybe you just don't have the guys for it, but you've got to coach them up. You cannot they have busted coverages game after game after game. There's clips all over the internet of the 49ers busting the same route in multiple games, back to back to back. That's a coaching issue. It's one thing if you bust routes here and there, but you cannot bust the same route consecutively game after game. That's a coaching issue to me. Now, the roster construction, they kind of handed Saleh a little bit of a raw deal. They said, we're going to gut your whole defense. We're going to give you a bunch of rookies, and we're going to ask you to figure it out. However, we've seen that with the Rams 2 years ago. They did the same thing to that defense coordinator, and they had a top 5 defense that year. We've seen that with other defenses where they've done that. You can get a lot of production out of young players by getting them to play fast, play together, so on and so forth. So I'd say injuries are clearly the number one factor. Then I would go Robert Saleh, and then I would go roster construction, but I wouldn't argue if you flip-flop the last two.
I don't think Saleh's to blame at all.
Okay.
I'd go a step further. I think if he wasn't here, it'd be historically bad.
Totally agree with that.
You know what I mean? Like,
it'd be awful. Oh, God, it would be so bad. Oh,
come on, bro.
It would
right?
be so bad.
Sometimes
if Nick Sorensen was still our defensive coordinator, it'd be the worst defense in the history of football. In the history of football.
Sometimes you got to be where your feet are, man. All right? And the facts is that when I see this defense, I don't see them, misaligned. I don't see them not being prepared. I don't see them, this is the thing that I love about our defense. You're not seeing clerical errors with the defense where you can just simply run hurry up and get us off of our square, right? Just change tempo and the defense ain't ready. Yeah. Or they can find one play and just spam it and spam it and spam it and spam it and spam it, and it just completely kills the entire game plan of what we've done. Like, I've seen this defense make a lot of adjustments during the game. Now, one thing I will tell you is that we got caught with our pants down in the second matchup against the Rams. 13 personnel killed us. All right.
Killed us.
Didn't have an answer for it. Luke Gifford got singled out, all right? And he's been getting singled out, but I do believe that Jair Brown coming in at that dime linebacker spot, taking Luke Gifford off the field, making it a D Winners and Tatum Bethune show, adding that extra DB onto the field kind of gives us a little bit of a wrinkle in a dimension. Another thing that I wanted to talk about with the defense as well, particularly with this last game, the Bears didn't really start getting traction until the Niners themselves started incurring more injuries. People don't realize Upton Stout left this game, right? Mm-hmm. Upton Stout left this game with I believe it was a concussion, a potential concussion, and he did not return.
Yeah.
Before that, the Niners had about three and outs in the first half, and it was the Bears offense that was having a hard time getting off of the ground to be able to get their offense started. Once Upton Stout left, and then we had to bring Chase Lucas onto the field, which I do see why Chase Lucas does not start. All right, he has a little bit of an issue.
I love the dude, but he's not. Yep.
Yeah, there's a reason, right? There's a reason why Upton Stout is a rookie and is starting over him, right? But that's not to say anything disparaging about Chase Lucas, but it is to say that there's a drop. right? Once he's on the field. I just feel like also having what we at least just give us our guys. All right, if you're injured, whatever. But your Turgos Matos finally playing, that's huge.
Yeah.
Being able to have somebody that can kind of set the edge. This was a defense that went up against the number one Russian attack the week prior in Jonathan Allen and the Colts. And
Jonathan
he ran for
Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor, sorry. And he ran for like 40 yards
Yeah.
against us. All right. And then you turn right back around and don't look now. But this Bears team, the key of what they do is not Caleb Williams.
They were the
It's
number
their
one
run
rushing
game.
team in football. They were the number
They're
one
the
rushing team in football.
Yes, they're the say it again, dude.
Number one rushing team in football.
They were the number one rushing team in football. And what did they do? They put up 110 yards against us on the ground. It took two backs for them to do that. While
And that
at the same
includes
time,
Caleb Williams running.
yes, that's total team yards.
Yeah.
All right. So for me, a team that rallies, a team that's conscientious, and they're coached well. They're gonna be prepared. They are gonna be put in the best position possible. This is a defense that you gotta work on this defense, okay? Let's just talk about a couple of things on the key defensive rankings for this defense through week 17. They got 22.4 points allowed per game. That's 13th in the NFL. While we're talking about how bad this defense is, okay? And total defense, they're 19th overall. The gotcha stat that everybody loves to point out is the fact that we have 18 sacks on the year, which ranks us last in total sacks and in pass rush rate. Now, you could talk about that all day in a vacuum, but overall, and as far as when you throw that in with the rest of everything else, we're still the 19th ranked defense in the NFL.
That's right.
Okay? If you look at the rushing defense, we're averaging 103. We're giving up 103 yards per game. That's sixth in the NFL. All right? And for passing defense, it's ass. 244 and a half yards per game. That's 24th in the NFL. But that is by way of teams who try to run on us. You know what I'm saying? For teams that try to bully us. We ain't no easy out. Now, again, if you want to get into the playmaking, this is where it gets ugly. We already talked about it. 18 sacks, 32nd in the NFL. Only six bags on the year. And as in interceptions. That's only 29th in the NFL. We've got eight fumble recoveries. We've got 14 takeaways, which is 22nd in the NFL. All right. I believe that all of those stats. Also, let's just get to the rest of them. Defensive touchdowns, we've only given up 42, which is 13th in the NFL, and pass completion against, which is a sexy stat, we're 27th in the NFL with 32.3%. Those are playmaking stats, right? Sacks, fumbles, interceptions, takeaways. Those are playmaking stats, all right?
And our playmakers are hurt.
When you're missing your playmakers,
yeah, that's a good point.
all right, and you got a skeleton crew in there, all right? Talk to him, Terradome. Talk to him. I know I got some coaches in the chat. When you get a skeleton crew, we ain't about to be reinventing the wheel. All right?
Just keep them out of the end zone, and they've done that.
Shock and
average.
shed. 3-point stands, blurred vision, all right? Push and pull, swim moves. One arm is the long arm. Like, you get real basic and fundamental when you know that you got a crew where the last thing you want to do is to put too much dip on your chip. How ridiculous would it be to have this crew, this level of our defense, overthinking the game? Having way too much to think about on what? No, bro. These guys, at the very least, they need to play free. So they have to be put in a position where they can pin their ears back and just have a job. See ball, get ball. Do what you have to do. We'll do the rest. They're not intelligently designed due to the lack of the playmakers and one of the best linebackers, if not best players in the NFL, in Fred Warner. So I think that people are gaslighting the defense situation because, one, it's something to talk about. Okay, it's a topic. It's if you're gonna chop us down, you can't talk about the offense right now. You look dumb as hell. So the only thing that you can really talk about as far as the Niners are concerned is the defense. But use some context, man. Right? You can't get water from a rock. You can't get blood from a turnip. So why are we sitting here gaslighting the defense is just horrible? There ain't nobody else coming.
Yeah.
This is what they got.
Well, if we win a couple of games, we might get one of them back.
I don't know. Don't do that, man. Keep those tabloids, keep those grocery store tabloid lines out of my show. If Fred Warner comes back, that would be ridiculous. He's sleeping in the hyperbaric.
Yep.
All right. Hyperbaric Fred.
If we beat Seattle, we legitimately might only have to win one playoff game to get him back.
Yeah, I got you. So, hey, let's get into a couple of super chats before we get to our next topic. Yo, there is something up with my super chats where they just do not pop up, but I got you. Grob23 LBJ, $5. Thank you. Please stop saying Pearsall struggles. He did not struggle. When he's in the game, he always produces. His issue is staying on the field. So he struggles to stay on the field. I'm gonna leave you alone, man. You got it. You pay for the super chat. I'm gonna leave you alone. You pay for the super chat. So let me but that's funny, man. Sean, my man Sean for the win. Injuries are to blame. They lost elite players at 2 layers of the defense. Huff and Winters both look like B-plus players with both. Talk about it, man. I'm reading this again. Injuries are to blame. They lost elite players at 2 layers of the defense. Huff and Winters both look like B-plus players with Bosa and Warner and are average on their own. I'm going to tell you this right now. From that sentence alone, I know that Sean has either played the game, he's either coached it, or there's somebody in his family who he has been intricately involved with the game of football. Yeah. Because that is a human statement. That's a human element statement. That's something that does not come up on stat boards. That's something that you can't call that out in your fantasy football lineup.
That's right.
When you play next to somebody, look, you think that Trent Williams didn't get Aaron Banks paid?
Right? Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You think that Dominic Pooney, you know who Dominic Pooney's best friend is on the team? Colton McKivitz.
Yep.
Do you see how Colton McKivitz' game elevated when Dominic Pooney got in there? Fred. Why do you think all them boys love Fred? Aziz, Dre Greenlaw, DFF, all of those. Why do you think they love Fred? They got paid playing with him.
Yeah.
They fed off each other. Come on, man. It is a team sport. When you got guys that play off each other, they elevate other guys. I love this comment. All right. Martin and Siegel needed to develop this year, in my opinion. Yes, I agree. But yeah, it really wasn't. For me, I think that sometimes the answer is just too boring. And it doesn't really jive with the fact that we've literally scraped the pot as far as talent is concerned. All right. And the only reason why this defense has been propped up to even be a topic is because of the people holding up the scaffolding. All right. So that's it. Like, you can't blame Robert Saleh for getting on a ship with holes in it. You come back and you check on him 3 days later and he's still floating in the water. And you're like, look at this asshole. They can't even pass speedboats. It's like, he's still alive. You gave him a boat with a hole in it. He's surviving. Sean for the win. Good call. I play semi-pro. Come on, man. AIFL in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Vietnam. Come on, man. My dog played at 71st High School, man. Stop playing with me. I know about the Nam. 71st lost in the playoffs this year, too, man. So it was a tough one. But yeah, for me, I hate to take the the highbrow route, but I don't think there is a plaintiff. They're doing their level best. What do you think?
No, I do agree with that sentiment. Overall, I don't think anybody should expect more than what we've gotten. Terradome put a comment in earlier that I think is really important to consider, and that is that the 49ers did spot them 7 to start the game. And as you mentioned, they had multiple 3-and-outs early in this game. And that has actually happened in several games where if you look at the overall score, the defense looks like they gave up 30 or whatever. Like, for instance, I think it was maybe the Carolina game where Everybody's talking about all the – or no, it was the Browns game. Everybody's talking about all the yards they gave up to Shedeur Sanders and all this other stuff. People forget that they only scored 10 points in like the first 2.5 quarters of play. They went to a prevent defense and told the Browns, like, you go ahead, but you're going to have to use 15 plays to score. And that's how they won the game. They went into a ball control prevent defense, and that's where all those yards and numbers came from. Up to that point, the defense was holding them down. So there's a lot of misleading stats if you just look at the total numbers this year.
Yeah, and that's nobody has brought. That's a sneaky comment too, Terradome. They spotted 7. All right, they spotted them 7. All right, so I'll take it. Let's get into our next topic.
I don't know. I think there's some super chats at the very beginning of the comment post that you might have missed. I don't know if you want to go back and try to hit those. Very top in the comments. Take away Purdy's pick 6 and the Niners win comfortably. Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Gammon Brown, 98.98, $5. BB.
I can't believe you put that up without reading it first. I can't believe you put that up without reading it. That's Gammon. That's dangerous.
It be your own people, man.
Your own. Every time.
Your own people, bro. I got so many people that will put that I'm worried about putting wild comments on my shit, and it got to be you, Gammon. The dude who's in my damn group chat. You wild, Gammon. All right, man. We got one more from Gammon Brown. What do you want, Gammon? At Chunder Boy, are you wearing contacts? Your eyes are so blue like oceans. I get lost in them.
No, I don't wear contacts.
I'm muting the chat tonight. He's done. I'm muting the chat. All right. Bill Kennedy, 9554. Thank you so much for chatting early, Bill. We got right back to you. Thank you for your patience. How much of a loss does Ernberg predict? Is Ernberg in the chat?
I'm not sure what. Yeah.
All right. I don't know. Bill, get at us in the chat. Please don't send – I'll hawk the chat. Don't send another super chat. Just tell us what you meant, and I'll put it up in the chat, man. But, yeah, so let's get into our last topic, man. We got one more topic for the road, and you know what? Just because I love you. Brains over brawn. Let's get into it. So – your boy, our boy, Brock Purdy. Earlier in the season, Brock looked uncomfortable. Turnovers, hesitation, fans chanting for Mac Jones. Since then, he's been decisive, aggressive, and, dare I say, clutch. 10 touchdowns in the span of 2 weeks. And that begs the question, is this physical recovery from his early injuries in the season, or has Brock displayed mental growth? In short, is Brock Purdy playing at this level because he's finally healthy or because he's turned a corner mentally?
Yes. So I think that
this is your topic.
I think that he clearly was struggling with his mechanics because his body wasn't right. He spent a lot of time this year throwing floaters that were not the first 30, 35 games of Brock's career. He had one style of throwing and played a specific way. And then all of a sudden we got this stretch of like 20 games in the middle, including earlier this season, where all of a sudden he's not accurate. He's not being precise with the ball. And I'm not even talking about the decisions. I'm talking about just ball placement, missing open guys, throwing it over guys' head. And I felt like there had to be something going on mechanically or something wasn't right. Now, focusing on this season specifically, we can't ignore, right? Obviously, there's some physical stuff, but we can't ignore that he literally told us that his coaches told him before the Browns game that he has to throw the ball away more. He has to play safe with the ball more. I think that you also have to give Mac Jones a lot of credit for sort of showing Brock the light. If you operate the offense in this way and put protecting the football higher on the priority list than making a play, this offense will fire on all cylinders. So I think this is another thing where you'd put percentages on it, but I do think it's definitely both things. But I think Brock is finally playing healthy, and he's back to playing confidently. And that's the critical thing that has him playing as well as he's playing. We have seen him play like this before. The second half of that Detroit game looked like what we just saw. We've seen him play high-level football, but it's been a while. So I feel like Brock is getting back to feeling comfortable and confident in his ability to play the game.
I could see that it could be both. He's a different quarterback when he can't be mobile. One thing that I will say is that Brock being utilized in RPO, Brock being utilized in the red zone with Veer is new. It's a wrinkle that they have to keep doing.
Yep.
It takes so much pressure off everyone, right? When you have to think about Brock Purdy. And that's the thing. It's kind of like you ain't got to do it 10, 12 times a game, right? Brock doesn't need 12 carries a game. You keep him in that 6 to 8 range of design runs where, hey, bruh, it's 3rd and 1, it's 3rd and short. We're in the middle of the field. We're in the green zone, right? We're in the red zone. You just can't key on Christian. You just can't key on George. You're going to have to understand that Brock can be dangerous in a vacuum. And I love that he's not being put out there. I would be so upset if Brock was backed up against, we're in our territory of the field. We're down and Brock is running the ball. Why? What are we doing here? Right? I love the fact that they're putting him in positions where he can succeed, as they should be. I do believe that it's going to be a weapon that we'll see further down the line. I talked about this earlier on. Sky Moore. We're going to see Sky Moore in the offense more. It's coming. It would be crazy if we had a Jacob Cowing sighting, right? So that's my thing right now is that
I don't think they can bring him back because of the roster spot he would take. He's gonna ride it out on IR. Jacob Cowing. Yeah, because they'd have to clear a roster spot to bring him back. Are they going to cut Kendrick Bourne right now to bring in?
Hell no.
So I think he's going to have to ride. I think he's probably healthy already.
All right, man. Hey, close me out. Give me your predictions for Saturday.
Before I do that, I promised you that I would be obnoxious about Brock Purdy on this show. So there's one final thing I'd like to say about Brock Purdy. It is so much fun for me to watch everybody who has tried to clown on Brock Purdy for a year and a half try to dance around calling him a good coach. Well, he's good, but the qualifying statements that these people have to make in trying to give credit to Brock Purdy, they just need to
do this on my channel.
If they can just bring the same energy, to the negative or to the positive as they do to the negative, it would all be okay. Brock's going to keep proving. That's all I got to say. All right. Predictions for the rest of the season. As I and only I predicted at the beginning of the season, we will beat Seattle for the number 1 seed. And we are – I really hope – do you remember the rest of the prediction on that? The rest of the prediction on that was that we would lose our first game in the playoffs. So I hope that part of the prediction is false. But I think we win against Seattle, and I do think that we have a real chance to make a run. And I think there's a chance this team is special. One of the things that you had mentioned as a potential topic for tonight was, are the 49ers more dangerous as like an underdog house money team than they are when they're stacked? And I think that's really insightful. I think there's something about the moxie, about the way that these guys are wired, including Kyle Shanahan, including Robert Saleh. The way these guys are wired, maybe that they're actually a better team when everybody's doubting them.
Hey, man, look, I'm excited for where we stand right now. We got the Seattle Seahawks coming up to face the San Francisco 49ers. It's a Saturday game. Guys, please. Don't nobody miss the game, dog. The game is on Saturday. All right, it's going to be a good one. We got the 3-13 Seattle Seahawks versus the 12-4 Niners. This is one for all of them. This is one for the books. This is the number 1 seed in the NFC and the division title all in one game. This is going to be a really good one. This is the coach signing off. Stay low and keep your feet moving. Holla at you guys.